Today we get to the fifth and final step of creating a marketing strategy. So let's recap really quick. The first step was define your audience. Know what your audience looks like, who they are, and really what they're interested in. The second step was define why they should talk to you. You really have to know why they should talk to you. You need to be able to tell them very specifically why they should talk to you. The third step was figure out how you're going to communicate that message and really what are you going to say? Is it the right step of the relationship? Is the message appropriate for that step of the relationship? And then the fourth step is measure. What are you going to use to measure and what are your expected results of this campaign? So you should have those first four steps done already. And now we get to step 5. Execute, evaluate, and evolve. It's all about actually starting the campaign or strategy. The first thing you have to do is simply make it go. Push the go button wherever that is and launch the campaign. For some people, that is the most difficult, to be honest, because you're afraid of failure. Sometimes we get really wrapped up. So you've put together this great strategy. Now it's time to launch it. What I always say is if you're afraid, if you're feeling nervous about it, we all do that. So don't get caught up in that. Launch the campaign. And then once you launch the campaign, we have to evaluate it, right? So we have to say, is this working? Is it not working? And luckily in the last step, you already set measurements that you thought would be success, that you thought that you would get, the results that you thought you would get, and you already have ways to measure them. So that's pretty simple. Now, one caveat here that I want to let you know is you have to make sure that you've given enough time to let the campaign work. And then the last step is evolve. What changes need to be made to this campaign? Are you getting the results you thought you would? And what changes need to be made? It's as simple taking a look at the campaign and what changes need to be made. Sometimes you need to change the wording of a campaign. Sometimes you need to realize that maybe your results weren't realistic for what you're putting into the campaign. And that's okay too, but don't get in the habit of just modifying your expectations because you weren't getting the results. And sometimes you're having a great campaign, it's way better than you thought would happen, and maybe you need to add more into the beginning of it, whether it be Facebook ads or anything like that, or you just need to up your measurements. Like you need to say, hey, we should expect more from this strategy because it's working way better than I thought. But whatever it is, figure out where you're at and then make the changes to the campaign. Don't just stop a campaign, but make the changes to a campaign and then reevaluate and evolve again. It's an ongoing process for however long that campaign or strategy is running. It should be an evaluate and evolve process. So that's it. Execute, evaluate, and evolve. It's the most fun part. You get to put all this work into your marketing campaign, and then finally it's out there for the world to see. And so that's where you're at. You definitely want to download the documents below and fill them out and go through every single step. And what I would suggest you do is fill out this step either on a weekly basis, sometimes daily at first, or a weekly basis or monthly basis, depending on what those measurements are that you're looking at. So you're constantly evaluating and evolving the campaign, and note what you did differently in that worksheet so you know what's working and what isn't. That is how you create a marketing strategy in 5 simple steps. And I know that if you do this for every single campaign you send out, it is going to be more effective. it may be something that you're looking at, and some of the steps go really quickly because it's just a short campaign. And then those longer campaigns are a little bit more involved, and that's fine. But make sure you do it each time so you know what you're looking at, what the results you're expecting are, and if it's working or not. As I always say, marketing's a lot about figuring out what works and do more of that. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. We want to know how we can help you. My name is Amanda Reed with Reed Mobile Marketing, and we'll see you in the next video.